Okay, so welcome everybody. I believe we should be live, but the view count is at 0. So please let me know in the audience if you can hear us and see us, if we are really live. So fantastic week. Congratulations, everyone. This is a few days before Christmas. I don't know why somehow Sir Peter Beck tends to bring Christmas. I think last year it was the 5.5 million contract, or was it 2 years ago? Anyways, he makes sure we have good Christmases. So welcome everyone, and how are you guys doing?
Good, eventful week. We were out of town. My family was out of town last week, so I'm still trying to catch up on things. But yeah, so much welcome news. The portfolio is doing well, I guess. I mean, I actually haven't looked, but just seeing Rocket Lab was up, I think, 17% on Friday, and Redwire was up, I think, 13 or 14% in that range too. Shift 4 is not doing so hot, but that's great because my limit order triggered. I bought a little bit more at 64, so I expanded that position by, I think, 10% in terms of share count. So yeah, can't complain about the week, that's for sure. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been, just busy always with the kids. Portfolio is doing excellent with a 99% Rocket Lab position. Wow. It is doing extremely well. I think if you put together the regular day on Friday along with after hours, we were up like 20%. So that's always amazing. I think we may have even touched a new all-time high. So I'm excited for the week to come. That video that Rocket Lab put out, Sir Peter Beck talking about the deal and in great detail in the afternoon was super helpful. So I'm looking forward to the week ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also have a big announcement. So I bought back my call options as much as I could when it was around $55. So finally, I'm also participating in this upswing, and yeah, it feels good. So I'm back. I'm not a Rocket Lab bear anymore. Yeah, I mean it's so interesting because I thought that I will get a tax hit if I close the position in a certain way, so I wanted to wait, and then I realized that I can do it without having a tax hit. And if I would have realized it earlier, I would have done it when it was at 37. And then I was like, when the stock went up, I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And then I felt that it was just a sign by the universe when we had this like 2 days of 15% drop. And then I was like, okay, I don't care. I called my dad and then I told him that, look, what will piss you off more if we buy now and then the stock is 50% in 6 months, or we don't buy and the stock is like $150. And then we both agreed that, okay, after price, we're just going to go in, and the next step is do nothing and hold it for like 5-10 years. So it feels amazing, guys.
Nice. Good.
Cool.
Nice.
And yeah,
now I got a message from you, Vince, before we started the stream. You said it was going to be like Christmas. Where's your Christmas?
Here. I just
there we go.
It doesn't come through on the camera. Oh, there you go.
Is that a Death Star? No, that's your microphone.
No. It's a Rudolph. Wait. I need to. You see?
Yeah, I see it. That's good.
Rudolph.
What you got?
I just have like just a little Santa.
Oh.
Pretty minimalist compared to you guys.
But I must say yours is the best. You have like a Neutron Santa. Is it like
Santa, yeah.
Is it implying that Santa is like delivering the gifts on Neutron?
Santa, Sir Peter Beck, Santa Peter Beck is delivering, and I'm extremely thrilled about that.
Awesome. And by the way, so Dave G is like is probably not here because he is. I think they are 4 days past due date for the baby, so I didn't think that he would be here. But somebody who I thought would be here is our White House correspondent, or White House Sir Matt Money. So he had a very strange thing happen this week. His video basically appeared out of nowhere on the whitehouse.gov website during a live stream. And most of us, when I saw this on Twitter, I thought this was AI generated. Him did too. It took quite a bit of convincing that he would believe that he actually appeared on the White House. So he said he's taking a flight. I'm guessing he's flying to DC to give stock advice to Donald Trump, or receive stock advice from Donald Trump. We don't know. Or maybe he's being waterboarded by the FBI to figure out how he made it onto this website. So we don't know, but I'm very happy for him. He got contacted by Bloomberg. I think this post that you see here is actually on Bloomberg's official website, and he was, I think, by Reuters, he was contacted, and some other media news lines. So super funny, super funny. Cool. So I think let's no, wait, Scotto has something to say. He told me I should give him a ball.
I'll share the screen because I got to fact check myself. So the last time that I was on, we spoke briefly about Mynaric, and then I was laying in bed that night, and I was like, oh no, I got something wrong. So sure enough, I checked, and long story short, I did get something. I mean, we were directionally accurate, but I want to re-explain this, and there's actually some additional context I can layer in. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. If you guys have heard this before, you'll get the gist, but in a nutshell, it's even better than the way I communicated the first time. So let me try this one more time. So on June 5th, we had the update that there were 100 Condor Mark III terminals that were delivered. So that was June 5th. 5 months later, we have this November 25th, we have this update that there were 250 Condor Mark III terminals delivered. So 150 in between. The previous time that I gave this example, I was using 100 being delivered. It was actually 150. So the 100 I was getting from here, and just referencing the wrong number, trying to do math live never is a good idea. So 150 were delivered in that 5 month period. We're able to determine the price, 15 million divided by 18 vehicles with 4 terminals each, so 72. The quick math there is 15 million divided by 772. That's $208,000 per terminal. We're going to round that down to 200,000. So putting this all together, I originally quoted that we are on a annualized revenue rate of 45 to 50 million. But that is actually, no, hold on. Did I get that wrong? Oh, no. Okay, yeah. The original that I quoted was around 45 to 50 million. Realistically, this is, we'll call it 70 to 75 million. So Rocket Lab's buying this company for 75 million plus another 75 million in options. And they are currently, basically, that's like a price to sales of 1 for the original price tag. So, I mean, it's even better than it originally sounded. But then the additional layer that I wanted to add in is there was another post on January 3rd. And what we want to get from this is that there were 787 terminal units in backlog as of December 31st, so the end of 2024. And if we're to just simply back out the 150 that were delivered between June and November, and then assume that that is the kind of steady state that they've been delivering throughout the year, which it hasn't been, but I think it's fair to assume that 150 were delivered between January and June, then another 50 between June and November. So all this to say, we're going to subtract 300 in total, 150 and 150 from the 787. So 487 are remaining in the backlog. We'll round that down to 450 to be conservative. Now, worth noting that the remaining 450 that are in backlog, that doesn't include any additional bookings throughout the year. So the terminal's estimated to be at 150 to 250,000. That brings us to a backlog that's going to be brought on top of that $75 million revenue rate. The backlog is going to be anywhere between $45 to $112.5 million. Again, for a company being purchased for 75 million plus 75 million in bonuses. So Rocket Lab's getting this at a huge discount. They had a lot of financial issues, and it's really showing that it's not a matter of it's not like Mynaric had an issue with their product, because they have a very large backlog and a very healthy pipeline. They just had some financial issues, and Rocket Lab got a one heck of a deal on this. Very, very akin to the Virgin Orbit deal. It's just like pennies on the dollar. So I wanted to bring that up and just say that the last time that I said it, it was a little bit incorrect, but it's going to be huge, this acquisition. So my question to you guys, though, Mrs. Iglesias, I'll start with you. Do we still think that this is going to close this year, or do you think this is going to be pushed into 2026?
No, I don't think it'll be close this year at all. I think definitely 2026. Hopefully first quarter, second quarter. It's hard to say. I think we're still waiting on the excuse me, on the approval for the direct investment from Germany. I think that's what Richard French said, right? At some point, he said that they intended to acquire Mynaric, but it required a German foreign direct investment approval. And Europe kind of drags its feet with all kinds of things. So I don't think 2025 is going to be it.
And I can almost tell you guys from experience that the government employees will go on vacation from Monday next week, and probably no meaningful work will be done until the 6th of January. That's very, very European. So if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen this year.
So I'm seeing in the comments that I'm wrong on something. I'm trying to catch up, but I'm not quite understanding.
Yeah, I saw Jacob put something up.
Yeah, the 100 from the first announcement were not delivered until after the start of 2025. I think that's what I meant to say. There were 100 delivered as of June, and then we know 250 as of November, so that's 150 in that 5-month period. And then I was making, I'm not sure. Jacob, maybe you can tell me I don't know. Okay. But yeah, we're just assuming that there have been between 250 to 300 sold throughout, or delivered more accurately, throughout the year. That's kind of my running assumption with that. But
and do I remember correctly from the previous video that most of these were delivered to Rocket Lab actually?
I'm not too sure. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Maybe I remember wrong. But I just want to say, because you talked about the price to sales value of 1, and then we don't know how much this acquisition helped on Rocket Lab securing the current contract that they have gotten, because they're making the production lines more and more vertical and stable, and the more they can guarantee. And this also potentially opens the door to European contracts, because Rocket Lab has a European daughter company. So I think it was an extremely good deal when you factor these in as well. It's just hard to put numbers on these factors.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when we're finally done, so we can open up the books and see what's going on. But I mean, a 100% equity ownership from Rocket Lab with, over 300 employees, and plus the Munich facility, like you said, gives us access to Europe now, and all of the backlog, Condor MK3. It's exciting. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah. Was it when we were at Wallops? Was it Mynaric where Adam Spice said that they had the first staff meeting and everybody was showing up in Rocket Lab shirts, or was that Geost?
Pretty sure that
Geost was not. Was it announced at that time already?
I don't know. I could check notes, but I'm pretty sure it was like just recently closed at that point.
I don't remember. I want to say it was Mynaric only because we were talking in close proximity with French, and he had talked a little bit about the German acquisition, and I thought there was a segment there with Adam Spice talking about it, and so I kind of want to say it was Mynaric.
No, it would have been Geost, because it closed on August 12th, and we were there on August 28th. So it would have been, that would line up with their first hoorah meetings.
Okay, it's true. Because I'm just so curious, what happens in this Munich facility? Are the employees free floating currently because the company is in bankruptcy and is being acquired, or they consider themselves Rocket Lab employees and they're already moving on production targets from Rocket Lab, or I'm just very curious how it's going over there. Francisco, trust me, I was there too. They were talking about geos. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Francisco, you had more sleep than me, so I trust your memory.
Not a high bar, though.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, we all know the amazing big news that happened this week. But I do want to touch on that a bit later on the show. So I was thinking we could take the launches, which is, oh, sorry, what did I do? Oh, that's why I need tech support here. I was like, how come my screen is not showing? So it's so funny how we were like, oh my God, do we reach 20? And that was like last week. And then all of a sudden we have like bam, 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 launches one after the other. And Miss Iglesias disappeared. Okay, when she's back, then I let her in. So, and at one point, it was Miss Iglesias actually who was in New Zealand who reported that in New Zealand they're planning with 20 launches. And then we were thinking, okay, Scotto must be high on something that he thinks it can be more than 20. And here we go, the 21st launch is being planned. So I just want to show a few interesting points. So this was the Korean launch that aborted actually at ignition. And apparently it's a very, very hard thing to do. I'm going to try to play it for you guys so that you see it. Let me know if there is sound.
2 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So that was an abort on ignition. I was super impressed that the rocket actually can do this. Apparently, like, really not every rocket can do this. You have to be very sophisticated with your systems. And this satellite was basically ready to be launched. And this could be maybe a 20-second launch this year if they figure out what was wrong. Scotto, maybe you can... The launches is your strength, so I want to maybe give it over to you on this point.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure if they get all the launches off this year, but I mean, if they do, I mean, just looking at the screen now, it's like they could hit 22, assuming that IQPS, what's that, tomorrow already, and then they have one more, which is cased. Like, I'm assuming that, like, if it is an issue with the rocket, they could easily enough just swap out the fairing. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than I'm oversimplifying, but that's a possibility that we land at 22. So I'm feeling pretty optimistic about that still this year.
Miss Iglesias, how do you feel about the launch cadence this year? And yeah.
Yeah, I think, initially, as I mentioned, that I was told that they were aiming for 20. I think that's realistic. I think we've seen a couple now where it was either rescheduled or we saw that abort on ignition. I think we could probably squeeze one more in here before we go into the holiday week, and maybe one after the holiday week. I think it's safe to say that we're within sight of 22 potentially, but the fact that we've had 20 and we have a record now beating last year's 16, that's very exciting.
I think actually it's not just a record as for beating last year. I believe that we're already at a record for a quarter, right? We have never had 6 launches. I think 5 was the previous maximum,
right?
And we might like annihilate the past thing and like go from 5 to 8 if 2 more go off, which is crazy.
That is crazy. I was doing a little bit of research because I saw in the chat some folks were saying that maybe it wasn't the first time that we've had an abort on ignition. And according to Claude, it looks like we've had 4 of them. I hadn't been counting those. One was in 2017, so we're still testing. And we loved the nightlife in 23, the Kine one in 24, and now this one that just happened. So abort on ignition. has happened quite a few times for us.
Okay, it's I've never seen it before, so and I've been here a long time. Do you guys remember an abort on ignition before?
No, I heard somebody's mentioning, I think Mrs. Iglesias said, was that number 40 something? That was the most recent that I'm familiar with.
Okay, cool. So the next piece of Rocket Lab and launching is our lovely Neutron. And I must say, it's so unbelievable that the community of Rocket Lab is so great that we spot the Hungry Hippo fairing being tested. We don't even know what it is. There's just pictures like, oh, this appeared in New Zealand. There is like stripes around it. We understand after that, okay, they were stress testing and simulating flight environments for the Hungry Hippo opening. Then they spotted that it was on the move before the company announced it. And now we literally get like almost a day-to-day report on where the vessel that is carrying it is in the ocean when it's like arriving to Panama. And I'm just like how great of like, how much of a due diligence in real time can you get? Like, it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, I think they finally got tired of all of us peeking at it, and then they put that big tent up, and then they shipped it away. So long term, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if the plan is to continue to make the Hungry Hippo over in New Zealand and ship it over, or if there's an intention to maybe start making it here. But as you may recall, I was told at the time that it was a prototype, but I guess it's not. So very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's funny because what does a prototype mean? Like the first Neutron launch, the whole vehicle is a prototype in a way. I mean, it's not carrying customer payload, right? So
yeah,
and yeah, I'm sure they know what they're doing, right? Like New Zealand workforce is cheaper, and apparently they have higher competency when it comes to working with the carbon composites. And on top of it, the ITAR regulations, like the only thing that is sensitive for national defense is the rocket engines. So there is not really any real barrier of making these structures in New Zealand, and they have a huge factory. So I guess that's where they will be making it from. I mean, if you set up the machines to make one, then it's super simple for you to make more, right?
Yeah, I think my favorite meme I've seen so far on X was the one where Sir Peter Beck on his souped-up jet ski is pulling the Hungry Hippo. I would love to see that as the last leg of the journey. Sir Peter Beck just goes out there to the ocean and brings it in on a jet ski.
In Wallops, where we need the what is it called, the dredging? Or, yeah.
I think that would solve, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And I must say, when I was looking at this, I'm feeling really good about Neutron soon, because I mean, like, we see all the Archimedes hot fire tests, we see the Hungry Hippo fairing. I think the stage 2 was already qualified, and I'm like, the pieces are, I mean, I don't know what's really missing anymore other than like putting the pieces together. I think these are all the major parts. If I'm not I mean, okay, maybe the stage 1 tanks have not been seen yet, or?
I'm not too sure. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them using that test stand that was put up now on LC3. I know we've seen a lot of mock-ups from our community in terms of how it would look. Oh yes, and credit to Francisco who made that that AI of Sir Peter Beck pulling the Hungry Hippo. But no, I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah. What is your estimates of like best guesses when Neutron is going to be visible in Wallops, and then when do we launch it?
Like fully stacked?
Yeah. No, I mean, I would also just say like partially stacked, like when you start seeing, because we haven't seen any Neutron on LC3, right?
I bet mid-February. Well, not including the fairing, because we know it's already on the way. But I think things start to really heat up, like probably February is my bet.
Yeah, I think we see Neutron on the pad, like assembled end of March. And I think we see my estimate of launch, if everything goes well, right? Green lights to Malibu, I would say a launch in late second half.
Wow. So you think that it's going to be 4 or 5 months on the like standing in Wallops, and they're like working on it? And
yeah, I think that sounds, that seems reasonable.
that, you know what it would be so interesting if somebody could go back and see, like on Electron, because they do a lot of parallels to Electron. Like they're saying that we're going to scale like Electron, think with that. And is there, like, does somebody have, like, when Electron was like transported to LC1, and then how long it took to fly that baby? Because I know that they had a lot of like cancellations and scrubs, like on the first launch. Like they tried a lot of times to launch it, and I think that would be like quite a good like yardstick to use on Neutron, like what to expect.
I would argue that it's going to be a lot quicker. Well, I want to say it'd be a lot quicker because they have a lot of know-how, but at the same time, there's a lot of probably. I think it's safe to say many additional parts. Not sure how exactly that would scale, but might be a fair comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Archimedes obviously is the biggest issue that we're waiting on. It's obviously have all the structures now, right? Next step is qualifying the tanks and attaching Archimedes and firing it up. I think once we're able to get an acceleration on the timeline for Archimedes and it all goes well, I think it's only a matter of time.
Whoa, somebody wrote first test fire 2013.
Oh, cool.
Flight qualified 2016. First flight May 25, 17. Whoa. But okay, was it flight qualified like December 2016, and then the flight was in May 25? That's a crazy gap between. Even if it wasn't like from December to May, like if it was like every part of the rocket was flight qualified, and no,
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a shorter window. I keep seeing in the comments too, people commenting about Archimedes being like what's the word they're using? Qualified, but like, is that not something that happens like kind of last minute? Like, I assume they're going to keep tweaking the engines from now until they need to like get a final in, right? Rather than like lock something in and be stuck with it in 6 to 9 months.
I think
trimming down the engine would be something that they're working on, and we've seen it fire, so we know it fires. I think at this point it's about making it look a little more streamlined.
I think
failure.
I think we can look at the website. I can pull it up, but I think it could be that the Archimedes engine is qualified, and then the stage 1 will take, like, that's when they optimize the engine, when they're I can show my screen. This is so fairing qualification is done. No, you're right. Engine qualification is not done yet, and stage 1 qualification is not done yet. Regulatory approval, vehicle integration. Do you think they build this crane here? That is here, or I don't know how they're going to lift it in. Okay, that's a future problem. Okay, there is quite some steps to launch still. Okay, so that's very interesting.
But remember, they're all happening simultaneously, right?
Yeah. No, but I must say I was a bit shocked on like this Electron, that it could take like 6 months from the whole vehicle being, and we don't even know if it was in December right? Like maybe it was flight qualified already in July 2016, and then the launch was only in 2017. So
yeah, Electron was a brand new vehicle, right? I think what we keep hearing is that they've had a lot of opportunities to learn from Electron, and they're already testing a lot of the things that they're going to use on Neutron within Electron as a test bed. So I think the timeline is a little bit more streamlined.
That's true. That's true. So we got a super chat. Thank you so much, Mans on Mars. So he says, feeling good about the Mars Telecom Orbiter, especially after the loss of comms with Maven. I can get used to 800 plus million deals. Close that pipeline, SPB. Yeah, I mean, this is a good segue into one of the topics. So it's, I saw a post by someone. Let's start it like this. And of course, I lost it in my prep. Okay, I think I lost it. But somebody wrote that Rocket Lab's market cap went up almost $8 billion on an $800 million contract. And he called the stock a Ponzi scheme and said that this is his top short idea for 2025. And I was like looking at that post, and I was thinking, like, I understand where he's coming from. Like when you look at the numbers, right? Like it doesn't make sense that a company would go up $8 billion because they got an $800 million contract. And it's not that they're being paid $800 million in profit. It's like, you know, they will have a 30% gross margin on this contract, which is like $240 million, and maybe 10% profit if they calculate it really good. So that's like a 20 million profit essentially made the company go up by $8 billion. And I wrote a very stupid answer to his tweet, which I regretted after. I wrote that publicly shorting Rocket Lab is the male equivalent of OnlyFans, where you let others publicly watch you get effed. But and then a few days later, he wrote a post and he said like he got so much good feedback on this, like with actually people coming with arguments and numbers, that he realized that he was kind of wrong. And his point was that if the QQQ would do a correction on 20%, Rocket Lab would, correct a lot more. And I actually agree with him. Like if there is a correction on the QQQ or on the general market, Rocket Lab way outproduces the market on the way up. I guarantee you, if we pull back, Rocket Lab will also outperform the market on the way down. So at this point, I agree with him. But as in shorting Rocket Lab, I feel that we got this major contract, and again, this contract means if you look at like who got this contract, I think you can see my screen. So this contract was given to Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, L3 Harris, and our little old Rocket Lab. And this means that basically Rocket Lab is accepted as a space prime, and the US government trusts it. And we're going to get a lot more of this contract. That's why I think that the stock price reacted so much on this news. Then
we also saw macro conditions that day really improved. Like it wasn't just Rocket Lab, the entire sector, a lot of these aggressive little stocks went up by like up to 10%. So I think the little bit a little bit of blip over that was definitely our contract, but half of that was macro. If you saw Fly was up like 25%. ASTS was up like another, I think, 13%. So it was definitely macro combined with the contract.
So Fly was up more on nothing than Rocket Lab getting this contract?
Yes.
What the heck? Oh my God. Okay. So then what I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you look at Rocket Lab in 2026, so the Electron launch is like knocking it out of the park. So that's a positive catalyst. Neutron is around the corner, whether it's Q2, Q3, or Q4, but it is around the corner. I'm probably expecting more contracts sold for Neutron, and maybe even block contracts being announced. So that's a positive catalyst. Jarek Eisenman has just been confirmed to NASA. That's a positive catalyst. He name-called Rocket Lab many times. Trump just accepted or released a new executive order for the space program, in which they prioritize working with the commercial sectors and broadening the commercial sector, i.e. more contracts to Rocket Lab. That's a positive catalyst. And I'm like, the Fed is going to lower interest rates. I'm like, there's nothing going against the company. So I'm like, shorting this company for 2026 is literally the male equivalent of OnlyFans. Yeah, where was I going with this? So, and on top of it, another positive catalyst is exactly what Mans on Mars mentioned, that the current Mars communication infrastructure broke down. I have it somewhere here on the news. Oh my God, it's when we don't take it in order. Yeah, here it is. Here is the news. So this orbited Mars, and then it went behind Mars, all good. And then when it reappeared after the shadow of the planet, it looked like it was spinning in an uncontrolled way. So it looks like NASA is losing this one, which means that the Mars telecommunication orbiter has just gotten way more important, way more urgency on this. And if I read the law of who's qualified to get awarded this contract, the way I read it, it's only Rocket Lab. I don't know how you guys... this was a very long monologue about 2026 and Rocket Lab and the Mars orbiters. So you guys can comment on whatever you feel is relevant for you on what I said.
Yeah, I read it the same way, almost like Rocket Lab was the only one to introduce a proposal that included an MTO or a telecommunication aspect to it. And someone pointed out that Blue Origin on their website also has now a telecommunications orbiter that would, what was the wording that they pointed out? That would expand on the proposal they submitted. So it almost sounded like they didn't submit it with a proposal; they added it after the fact. But our friends over at Blue Origin like to sue when they don't get their way. So it'll be interesting to see. But I definitely think that Rocket Lab is the one on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. You, Mr. Scott?
Well, I mean, do you mind if I share the screen one more time? I'm just going to show a couple charts because I think this is like, just to echo what you guys are saying. It's like whether it's specifically, whether it's from macro, whether it's from this one contract, I think that a lot of folks are just simply seeing this uptick in backlog and realizing this is just the beginning. Like, I don't know how many times the Rocket Lab have all but said like the upcoming tranches are pretty much under their belt. Do you know what I mean? And now it's like Rocket Lab didn't wake up on Friday and they're like, oh, awesome, we were awarded this. They probably knew for weeks, if not months. And to kind of cross-reference that with what you guys are with what we're all saying here is like, how many times have they said something about this, the Mars orbiter? Like how many, and when they're awarded that, anybody who's like, oh, this is crazy, like, come on, there are the signs,
They just haven't been paying attention, yeah.
Well, yeah, or just like not, I don't know. It's just one of those things where once it's awarded, you can't look back and be like, well, they didn't telegraph anything, because they very clearly telegraphed. And like, this is just SDA. This is just the Mars orbiter. This isn't the NSSL launch bookings. This isn't Golden Dome. Worth noting here, actually, there is an assumption of 5 launches signed in Q4, and this does include the Mynaric backlog. So like we're still sitting at like this represents 1.86 billion. But I mean, this could easily shoot up through to 3 billion, like maybe by next year, if all goes well. Wow. So it's just like, it reminds me, it was like I think it was that first large order with Synspective. That was like, because I jokingly bought another block of shares at 420, and it was so happened to be the day that the Synspective thing was announced, and it just went way up, way more than the contract value was worth. But now you kind of look, we have the the luxury of time, and it's like, it wasn't just one block of new launches. It was that plus more, plus more, plus more. Like, I don't even know how many we've signed this year, but I think everything is just a sign of things to come. And I don't know. Rocket Lab's not slowing down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Oh, I was just going to quickly show one thing. I was asked to show this chart as well. This is what we can expect in terms of the SDA recognition. So again, this has all pretty much been explicitly stated by management what to expect for contracts of this size. So without over explaining it, this is the tracking layer 2, and this is like the same kind of silhouette but expanded to represent the larger structure. So what we can expect from 2026 is an additional $75 million in revenue just from this contract being signed, like without the satellites even needing to be delivered. So
per quarter, right?
No, 75 million for the full year is what I'm figuring, something in that range.
That's just like, how did you come up when we will actually start to see that money?
Actually, let me drag this over.
A lot of people have been asking.
I'll bring you guys in the weeds if you want to go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, I'll bring this in a bit closer.
By the way, just on the backlog. So Francisco correctly pointed out that Sir Peter Beck mentioned that there is about 200 million more plus dollars because the others are also buying Rocket Lab components.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you add that into the backlog or not yet? Or
no, not yet.
Okay.
But we can assume that we're going to see a larger uptick because I'll just scroll up really quick. Like I mentioned, this does include Mynaric. So shave off, what did we put for that? $80 million assumption from Mynaric closing in Q4, which it might not, but even still, it's like $80 million off of 1.8 billion. It's like, it's coming either way, the backlog. Sorry, what was your question, Vince? What are we doing here?
No, like if it was added in the components that the others are buying. Because,
right.
Because the funny thing is that the others proposals were also awarded, right? Mm-hmm. So if Rocket Lab like gave them, like most probably it happened that, okay, Rocket Lab, we're making a proposal for this. Can we buy this part from you? If we get awarded the contract, then we buy from you, right? So like they know already, like, okay, Northrop Grumman won, and that's what we offer to them. So like we're getting that contract, and it might already be official. I don't know how it.
And there was a mention. I'm unclear if Rocket Lab meant for. Like they mentioned that there's going to be Mynaric terminals on all of the satellites for the SDA layer 3, and I don't know if they meant for all of their satellites or if they meant for the full group too. So this number here, this $900 million uptick, like for bookings in Q4, that might well exceed $1 billion if those orders are being placed right away.
I feel like they all need to be the same so they all communicate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do. The way I read it, it was that its others are also using this from Rocket Lab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's, I don't know whether it's like all recognized or all booked in Q4 or spread out throughout the next year. There's a lot coming on the pipeline. Now to answer your question, Mrs. Iglesias, we'll start with backlog. Essentially, I track every customer over the 10% revenue threshold and kind of just organize it here. I was doing this with the hope that we'd be able to nail down the reaction wheel customer, but found something just as interesting.
Yeah.
So in 2024, there started to be an entry called simply government customer. And I wasn't sure if that was reaction wheels or what exactly we were tracking there, but nonetheless, we tracked that. And this number here is relevant in the other tab. So that's the same number here. And then there are a couple of quotes that I just add along the way, but to kind of paraphrase, there was between... Actually, we'll kind of fast forward through this stuff. If you guys really want to, you can zoom in on the quotes. But essentially, we're taking that 10% threshold, which tracks nicely with commentary that was made. So already we're making the assumption like, oh, that's probably SDA. And then as we kind of go on and get more commentary about how much of the SDA contract is being recognized, it became kind of clear that that is indeed what is being tracked under government customer is the SDA program. So essentially I took the full year number and was able to kind of break that down into smaller assumptions $5 to $10 million in the first half of 2024. So that's the $10 million there. And then the rest is the 48 million, which is just kind of broken up quarterly. So again, some of these are kind of assumptions, but also not. Like the overall picture is accurate, but there are some quarterly assumptions being made throughout the way. So it's not exactly 4 million, it's not exactly 6 million, but we know it's between 5 and 10 million based on commentary. And then we have a little bit more clearer commentary that's been made. So I think it's this one here. Yeah, 150 to 200 million being recognized both in 2025 and 2026. And again, same thing. You guys can zoom in if you want to read the full quotes. And this is the one I'm looking for. So these larger, long-lived government programs are in the 10% in the first year, which again, that aligns with everything we've tracked. And then it's 40, 40, 10. So 10% the first year, 40% the second year, 40% the third year, and 10% the final year. So with that, we have like pretty much a very clear outline of what the first one will look like. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is, it's just basically built on the same structure, but using a different variable of 816 million rather than 515 million. So
that is crazy thorough.
You guys asked for it.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I'm glad you're on the team.
Cool. Yeah. I think we discussed the SDA contract. So finally, can you guys believe like how much we have been talking about this, and it's finally here? It's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. So once again, congratulations to everyone. Mm-hmm. So now on the next news, let me just get back the screen from Scotto. So yeah, we touched on this. So rookie Isaacman has been confirmed as NASA's next director. And on the same day that he was confirmed, Trump issued an executive order. And the main points of the executive order was that they recommitted to the 2028 lunar landing. They want to create a lunar outpost, want to create nuclear reactors on the moon. They want to have private launch, so enhance the sustainability and cost effectiveness of launch and exploration architectures, including enabling commercial launch services and prioritizing lunar exploration. So this is obviously more business to Rocket Lab and many other companies. End of ISS. Yeah, we knew that. Focus on leaner procurement. Use of existing authorities to improve efficiency and expedite space acquisitions, including first preference for commercial solutions and general preference for other transactions authority or space act agreements, customary commercial terms, or any other pathways to promote effective and streamlined acquisitions. So notice they don't mention cost plus contracts here. Yeah, here it says it also. So again, that's also good for Rocket Lab and the National Space Council. I don't know what that did or why it needs to be ended. All in all, I think this is very, very bullish for Rocket Lab. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I mean, whether it's launches or components, it's a net benefit, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely exciting times. I am, you know, it's like you said earlier, shorting Rocket Lab going into 2026. It's probably not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, then we move forward. So the next one is Eric Berger. He posted a very interesting analysis of space data centers. I can actually post this in the comment section if you guys want to read it. The guy, the author of this, he basically wrote that, yeah, you can speak about like, this is the future, bro. But if you're not having like math behind what you're saying, like if you can't get the math right, then it will be better to have data centers on planet Earth. And then he basically created a model here where you can like manually change the parameters and, you know, like use your own assumptions, like what's the launch cost to low Earth orbit, the satellite cost, the, you know, the power output. It's very, very interesting. And then, you know, you can physically like back check to your thesis, like when, like what needs to be true so that space-based data centers actually make sense in space. And his conclusion at the end of the article, let me see if I... Okay, so here it is. So the target I care about is simple. Can you make space-based commodity compute cost competitive with cheap terrestrial alternative? That's the whole claim. Not space is big, the sun is huge, not launch will be cheap. Can you deliver useful watts and reject the waste heat at a price that beats a boring Crusoe-style tilt-wall data center tied to a 200 to 500 megawatt substation? If you can't beat that, the rest is just vibes. GPUs are pretty darn happily living on the ground. They like cheap electrons, mature supply chains, and technicians who can swap a dead server in 5 minutes. Orbit doesn't get points for being cool. Orbit has to win on cost, or it has to admit it's doing something else entirely. If it's an existential humanity play, that's cool too, but it's slightly a different game. Oh my God, here it is. Sorry, guys. So here's the headline results. It's not obviously stupid, but it's not a sure thing. It's actually more reasonable than my intuition thought. If you run the numbers honestly, the physics doesn't immediately kill it, but the economics are savage. It only gets within striking distance under aggressive assumptions, and the list of organizations positioned to even try that is basically one. I think he's wrong here. That basically one point matters. This isn't about talent. It isn't about integration. If you have to buy launch, buy buses, buy power hardware, buy development, and pay margin at every interface, you never get there. The margin stack and the mass tax you eat you alive. Vertical integration isn't a nice to have. It's the whole ball game. So he is saying that the only way to make space data centers a reality, if you own the whole stack, you can vertically integrate, you know, you can manufacture all the components. And he knows only one company that has that today. Luckily for us, we know one more. Let me know if you guys think about the same company as me. But yeah. So that might be a huge. Remember, Sir Peter Beck said that the biggest thing in space has not been thought of yet. So maybe this is it, and we're really well positioned to take advantage of it. So, do you guys think that this is like the next big thing? And do you guys think that Rocket Lab is going to go into space data centers and AI?
For me, I think it does come down to economics. I think he makes a good point. I mean, if we're talking about launch cost alone and frequency and the need to replace, you know, satellites, you know, every 5 to 6 years, I would assume that data centers in space would also suffer the same radiation damage. You know, in terms of the benefits, obviously great, you know, being able to super cool them in space. That sounds amazing. The energy abundance with having, you know, being able to harness the power of the sun 24/7, and you know the environmental benefits here on Earth. You don't go through all that water trying to cool these systems. I know there's been a few companies that have tried. I think China and Microsoft who've tried to put data centers in the ocean, and they've scrubbed those programs. At least Microsoft did, because it wasn't, you know, as great as they thought it was going to be. So I think it's a big maybe. I think the article is right. I think if you look at the economics, when it starts to make sense is when we're able to launch cheap and launch frequently and reuse rockets, and being able to, you know, deploy these large cabinets of data centers is going to require super big machines like, you know, SpaceX or at some point Blue Origin, if they start to do that with some sort of frequency. I'm
like, I don't know, maybe well, I was going to say glass half empty with this. I don't understand the economics of it, and to me, I'm just like, well, it's just not feasible when you look at these numbers. But I mean, I'd love to hear somebody really champion this. But I mean, at the same time, it's like when you have, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, I think Sam Altman's in that group too. But like every, tech billionaire all saying like data centers in space are the next thing. I'm kind of like, okay, well, clearly I'm wrong on it, and like they see something that I don't, but I don't know. I just see the numbers at the bottom, like 51 billion versus 16 billion, and I'm like, well, that's
with certain assumptions, right? So it's like that. Then like that's his point, that you can, like in this article, you can play around with your assumptions if you go up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives you like a different and also like how many years you analyze it on, and then it changes the, like if because the solar panels are also like, the solar cells are more efficient in space, and like when you count with everything, then you will get like different numbers. So but yeah, like the economics, it probably takes like Optimus robots making it on the moon without rocket launches.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elon mentioned this, that if you could make the data centers on the moon and then like slingshot them from the moon, because the gravity is so low that you can just put it directly to orbit, like that's when it would start to, I mean, then it would for sure make sense. Maybe.
Yeah, but like I'm just looking at that as the view of like to what you're saying, like, yeah, there'd be cheaper to slingshot the data block from the moon to Earth, but not if you factor in like the machinery and everything that needs to be sent there in the first place.
Yeah.
Like once we have the infrastructure on the moon, like, yeah, it'd be cheaper, but getting the infrastructure there, that's the bottleneck. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know, like ignorantly skeptical on it. Like I'm sure that there's something there, and if that's the Rocket Lab's next big thing, then okay. But I don't know. I don't see it soon anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think the infrastructure in space, that's the exciting part. Whatever it is that we're going to decide to start building in space is going to require, maintenance, is going to require infrastructure with these big ships that are going to start going up. The infrastructure piece is what I'm really excited about, because Rocket Lab has always been a picks and shovels kind of company, and I think that's going to be something that's going to be beneficial to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we speak with Sir Peter Beck the next time, then we can ask him if this is something. But I'm almost sure I can hear his voice that he would say, like, we're going to focus on Neutron first, get it off the pad. There's no point in talking about this. And he's kind of right. Because the world can change so much that by the time maybe Neutron scales, it will be a different new big thing in space. Yeah. Cool. That was all the news that I had for this week, Christmas edition, Rocket Lab Weekly. I don't know if you guys want to say something in closing. I want to wish everyone a super Merry Christmas. And it feels like Rocket Lab is destined to go much higher than it is today. So it's going to be an awesome 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I do have some leftover, couple of keychains and a couple of pins and stickers. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I think X would probably be the best way to do it. Send me a private message, and then we'll connect, and I'll see if I can get some of these out to you. I don't have a lot. I have like maybe a couple, but feel free if you're interested. I'd be happy to mail them out for you as a Christmas present.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, then thank you everybody for watching, and we try to do Rocket Lab Weekly next week, and then we should go over the yearly predictions that we made last year to see how wrong we were. I think we were very off on a lot of things, but it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So spend a lot of time with the family, and May your sky stay blue and only your Christmas balls be red, and the stocks stay green. Ciao, everyone.
See you guys.
Cheers. Take care.